Hey guys, welcome back. So it's your girl, Rachie the Real, and here you guys already know you find out everything that you need to know. So today we're discussing shadow work. Shadow work. So I'm gonna be telling you guys all the details and everything that consists with shadow work. So before we get started, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. You already know the deal, and let's get into it. Okay, so today we're talking about shadow work, what it is, how to do it, and where we go from there. Okay, and then yes, this finger is missing. It was so tragic. I literally, it ripped, right? And then I just had to cut it. I mean, these are my nails, and I like to keep my nails on point, but I had to do that. Rest in peace. Anyways, this literally reminds me of have you guys seen the Shining? And he's like, red rum, red rum, red rum. If you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But let me tell y'all, this little finger for the ladies, when I'm doing makeup and stuff, is hitting, okay? And then with my hair, putting the gel in, I don't have nothing underneath my fingernails, but okay. Anyways, this ain't no beauty little video, okay? We're talking about shadow work. So what is shadow work? Shadow work is literally, long story short, because y'all know I always do long story short because it doesn't take you that long to talk about shit to inform people on, okay? So long story short, shadow work is literally working on your shadow self, which is that nasty, grimy side of you. So what is that side of you? So it's just literally your darker self. So when we get envious, jealous, hatred, all of those things, and finding out and figuring out why we feel like that. So let's say you out with your homegirls, right? And you see this other chick and you just kind of look at her and it's she thinks she all that because she has on that dress and them shoes. Who she thinks she is? And I mean, she ain't that pretty, but she thinks she cute. Okay. We've all been there. And if you haven't, congratulations. But we've all been in a space of wishing we had something else, but it's coming off as very judgy and a pure D hater. Okay. So we have to ask ourselves, why did I feel like that about her? What about her made me feel this way? So you go deep inside and okay, let me check this off. Oh, I wish I had this, this, and this, or I low-key was upset because I didn't have this, this, and this, okay? So we even find this in friendships, when you're jealous of a friend and their family is really tight-knit and you find yourself jealous of that because you didn't have a family like that, or you wish you had something that they had that you didn't have. And also for my fellas, it's who this guy think he is? He getting all the ladies, ain't nobody, he light skinned, look at him, he all, okay. So what is it about him that you felt low-key threatened by, and that it brought up some insecurities and some low-key wishes of that you had of him that you don't have? So, getting deep down inside these things and finding out why. So with shadow work, for me, I always hold on a platform of why? Why? Why do I feel like this? Why did this come up? Why did this come up during this particular moment? And once you start answering that one simple question, why, you start to get really, really deep into it. And does it feel good to do shadow work? No, because you're realizing things about yourself that you've been running away from this whole entire time, and really just try to suppress it. And the more you suppress it, the more it's just literally staying in your subconscious mind, and then it flows into the conscious mind eventually, but it's really just staying in the subconscious mind. And if you guys don't know, your subconscious mind is 90% of your mind. Conscious mind is only 10%. So we have a bigger data backup and memory bank, okay, in the subconscious. So it's gonna hold a lot of shit, and we don't want it to be bullshit, right? So with that, we want to kind of dig deep and swim in that subconscious and really like figure out, oh, okay, so I have these insecurities because my father wasn't there. How has my father not being there made me feel? Oh, I had these insecurities because I never had a girlfriend that was really there for me. Why do I feel like I've never had a girlfriend that was really there for me? Oh, I have these insecurities because my mama never made me feel wanted. She never made me feel loved. Why? Okay? So that is shadow work. And I want you guys to like really like get into it, because once again, shadow work is not easy, and you have to take accountability and responsibility, and it's full awareness and mindfulness in that of this work. Okay. And I would also encourage you all to journal like what you feel during the process of shadow work and then afterwards, so then that way you can just like see your journey. It's a beautiful journey. So just like see your journey, and then if you notice like, oh, I used to do this in this situation, but I haven't now, and then like document that. It's a beautiful thing. But yes, so we all have a shadow self. We all do, because we all have had trauma and just insecurities that have built up through time. Okay, like, and this can be seen within like friendships. It can be seen within just you walking down the street. It can be seen with you in a romantic partnership. But it's those nasty, like grimy things that like really come up, and you just want to be like, when you really start to see, it's just like, oh, this is how I've been acting. Okay, well, let me change it. Let me switch it up. And I have like full love and hope that you all will like get into this and like really make yourself better, because it's plenty of times too that we do things and we don't really catch that we're doing it, but sometimes somebody else might call it out, and then it's like, what? I didn't do that. And then you can say that, but then start being aware and start thinking like, okay, I didn't think I did that, but let me see. So then in the future, if it happens again, then you're like, okay, let me dive deep into this and really see like, why do I feel like this? Why do I feel this sort of way? And through shadow work, I want you all to give yourself grace and understanding, because sometimes we can judge ourselves, and it's really just like, why am I acting like this? Like, this is not a good look. It doesn't feel good. Like, ooh, I'm low-key a terrible person. No, you're not. We all have this, and we've all done this. So just throw it in the back. Okay? Just let it rest back there. Don't throw it too far back though, to where you can't catch it, but just throw it over the shoulder. Take a little rest. Just, okay. Reach back, bring it back. And understand, once again, as I always say, it is duality in this world. So you have to have light and dark. That's just how it goes, okay? And in order to get to the light, you have to go through darkness. I mean, that's even how we're born. We're born through darkness, okay? And then we come into the light. So just be patient with yourselves, you guys, and just really go there. So I would advise you guys to kind of like start with maybe just like looking in the mirror and just starting with like some self-talk of like, I love you, and I love you, Rachel. You are the best thing out here. You are so pretty. You are so nice. You have such a good personality. Like, boost yourself up. You know what I mean? Like, do things like that first. So when you start flowing in deep into this shadow work, it's not like, oh, like this is what I've been doing. Like, no, you don't have to look like that. But you can definitely start to feel like, eek, you know, with things. But build yourself up. Now, if you find out that looking like straight into the mirror and looking at yourself and saying to you, I love you. I would do anything for you. You're so pretty. You're such a nice person. You're so understanding. You're so loving. If you have a hard time looking in the mirror and saying those things, then that's another part of yourself, and that shadow self that is hindering you from doing that. So, real quick story, like I'll tell you guys, I had such a problem, an issue of like just looking in the mirror, like saying that to myself, because I didn't believe those things. I didn't believe that I was pretty. I didn't believe that I was a nice person. Well, I did believe that, but I still felt like I was just like, okay. And I didn't believe really that my main thing was I didn't believe that I was pretty and attractive and all this other bullshit that surrounds that. And so I had to dig deep and ask myself, why don't you think that? Why don't you think that? Like, outside of anybody else that's saying whatever, I mean, it's not ever like I've been called ugly before, but you guys get what I'm saying, okay? And if you have, who the fuck cares? Like, fuck them, right? Anyways, so if you look into the mirror and you have these issues and you're wondering why, and you ask yourself why, I had to say, why do you feel like this? So I had to go back into a time in my life that was hard for me. That was during high school, and when I was like low-key being bullied and people saying all sorts of shit about me. And because like stuff like my body conscious, it wasn't there because I was like little bitty, okay, little thing. And oh y'all, that I was so mad I couldn't gain any weight. And like I would never forget, in one of my classes one time, we were learning about anorexia. And this one girl in my class was like, oh, that's what Rachel has. And like that crushed me so bad. And like my best friend at the time, she was furious. And she's so sweet. Like you can barely like make her mad. But like she looked at her and like got up and like walked out the classroom, and like my teacher kicked her out. But it's like, I want y'all to go back into moments like that, because we all remember moments like that. That was like, it stuck with us, okay? And you can think of it as like bruises. Like that was a bruise to my heart. That was a bruise to my ego. And so with that, I had to sit in that. How did that make me feel that day? Remembering it, how does it still make me feel? And what can I do to get out of it? And so I then like looked up different like self-care kits, and like using essential oils, and like boosting literally like my joy, okay? Because boosting your joy, and then also like opening up certain chakras, like you start to really feel like the inside happiness. You really start to feel happiness on the inside. And I started journaling it. And then also what happens, now since you have gotten it out, it doesn't have a place to stay within. And a lot of times we're holding on to so much shit, so much, that half the time we forget. And it only like comes up when you're facing certain situations, but it's still there. So you still have all these like bruises on you, and you're not putting like any cold compresses on it and like tending to them, so then that way they can be removed. So go deep, you guys, okay? Like go really deep and like find out what's really going on. Because once you literally do your shadow work, I mean, you do shadow work continuously, okay? Because, I mean, we've been here for, some people have been here for 20 years, some people have been here for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, okay? We keep going. That was more of the time that you had to be bruised. And some people are like black and blue all over. It is no more space for their beautiful skin. And that takes work, because also people have been set in their ways. Like you guys probably heard the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, because most of the time when we have had situations like that, then we learn how to protect ourselves. And sometimes the way we protect ourselves isn't always the best way. So we get attitudes, we get angry. And if somebody says something close to what we've been through, it's a trigger. Those are triggers, not because you're hearing loud music. It's a trigger. So stop using triggers like it's a everyday word, because it's not. Using that, like having that happen, it is a trigger, and it triggers you to go into that like what's good mode. Like what? Like hell no. Like they ain't about to do that to me. I ain't about to get played again. We not about to have that happen. Like self, we ain't about to cry again. We ain't about to get upset. So then you create this thing, and then that's when people most of the time come off aggressive, upset, sad, and some people cry. Some people, their protection is just to like cry and like run away. But any of those ways aren't healthy, because you just allow that person to take your energy away from you and to really like take your power. And we're not in the business of having people taking our power. So we do shadow work. And shadow work is working on yourself deep within, on those nasty things that we want to correct. Because if everybody did shadow work, let me tell you, this world would be completely different, and everybody would be vibrating much, much higher. So, you guys, tell me how you started to do shadow work or how you did shadow work. But always remember, think critically, trust your spirit, and let your intuition guide you. All right, guys, until next time.